Microsoft Mike, I'm so sorry to do this. But I'll take it from here. This is episode 5.
What job?
The cafe.
Leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's confirmed now that it's leaving in January.
Yeah, well, I start in February, but I'm like,
You're leaving, I should say.
I'm leaving in January, so I'm gonna either, well, hi guys, have a holiday or work swapping noses for good money. Well, I'm probably gonna start swapping noses now.
It's good money.
Yeah, it's very good. So it's $31 an hour to take the swap noses.
Sorry? Did you just say 79?
31.
Oh, jeez Louise.
No, but 79 to swap some noses. No,
Far out.
31.
Oh, for COVID, is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Which
what
is
you mean.
pretty good. And all you need to be is just, you know.
I heard swap noses, like
Yeah,
surgically.
yeah, they hired me to do it.
$31 an hour to swap someone's noses.
Pretty good, mate.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's a lot of noses.
just
Yeah.
go for it.
Get a weed whacker on it. Just
Real professional. Get some anesthesia.
Much like this podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
This
Episode 5.
of Thought Anthology. Today I have my brother, you say your name,
Jake?
Jake, and today I'm going to be interrogating him because I've trapped him now.
Oh no, help me please.
So let's start by just saying, like, what do you do, Jake, and all that sort of stuff. Like, just go through that. Like, what's your day-to-day job? And I'll just reveal the main topic.
So I am a support worker by day,
By night.
and by night I am a
Sorry. Yeah.
psychic medium. I guess that's what people would call
Yeah.
me. Psychic.
Yeah.
I'm also a self-proclaimed warlock, and I have been for about 14 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's your identity, essentially.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring on, but the main theme clearly is going to be about psychics.
Yeah.
So the weird thing about psychics is that they appear to have what they claim is a connection to something which they can access in order to communicate with the supposed afterlife, or like people who are in sort of afterlife, or energies of the afterlife, or whatever.
Yeah.
Am I right in that sort of interpretation?
So there are different forms of psychic ability. The one that you're referring to is mediumship. So that is the ability to commune with those who have departed from this earth.
Yeah.
To term someone who speaks to the dead, you probably call them a medium.
Yeah. Jake's actually a pretty good scholar on this stuff. He just reads books about like mythology and all that sort of stuff. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember where I could start with this. Because remember how we were discussing? I was just wondering, because one of my main questions is the connection. Like I want like in regard. I'm not going to doubt anything in regards to this psychic shit because it's your experience and it's your reality. I don't experience anything like that. I'm a relative skeptic towards it.
I love you started that with that psychic shit.
Psychic shit,
I'm used to that. It's fine. It's all good. It's my shit.
That's right. No, we're friendly about it. We're friends here. And I just wanted so what sort of because you claim to be a medium and a warlock then.
Yeah.
So what sort of like things do you hear? Do you feel things? Like what sort of sensations do you get in order to get that?
Well, as a young kid, I've always been very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like emotionally, I've been sensitive, but sometimes I can walk into a place and I can feel like the vibration of a space.
Yeah.
So like I can pick up the emotions and feelings. And sometimes those feelings turn into like they might be thoughts, or it might be an image that comes into my mind.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the mediumship things, it can be, it might be, it might be voice.
Yeah.
Or it can be, again, it's a vision. I see it.
Yeah.
And I feel the urge to express what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've had
That makes sense.
I think that's right. That's pretty interesting. And sometimes some experience you're pretty damn accurate with some things. Like I remember you were talking about quite a while ago, actually like randomly coming up with a name. It was the name of like somebody's grandfather or something like that. It was quite a while ago. Like, was his name Henry or whatever it was, like Hector?
I can't even remember. It's
Yeah.
been
'Cause I remember like a year ago, Jake was apparently went to somebody's house, and you're like, did your grandfather pass, and was his name like Henry?
Oh yeah,
And he was,
no,
like, spot on. I was like, what the
that was I can't even remember what it was, but I remember there was just that feeling I get. It's like it's a feeling that comes over me, and then just the name
Yeah.
just I'm not always good with names. Names don't always come through.
And
so.
in that situation, there was like no prompts to tell you what the name was or anything like that, or anything clear, which is really weird to me. Like, that's something that's pretty interesting, I thought. And this is what makes me like go down those questions of like, because I remember when we were discussing like it was 3 weeks ago when we talked about this, I think. We're like sitting in the lounge room or whatever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about the difference between, like, let's say, for example, somebody between who's like having like a psychotic event who's actually hallucinating, and somebody who is psychic who's actually like communicating with something. Like, what's like, is like, are they the same thing but on different spectrums, or are they like totally separately different?
Well, I can't say because I've never had a psychotic episode, so I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
But I think because I can validate the feelings and things that I see.
Yeah.
And that they're confirmed by other people.
Yeah.
So I think too. Psychosis is really much a delusion, so it comes into a place where the person, there's no like,
there's no control.
Yeah, there's
like,
no control to it. No.
Like, because like generally, like with things like psychosis, it's either induced by drugs or by some other biological event. So there's something chemically going on which is causing that event.
Yeah.
Which is potentially within the realms of knowledge that we have in regards to science, that is potentially what is occurring within you, but into a different pathway.
Yep.
This is not to denounce anything that you experience or anything like that. It just makes me always wonder, like, what's causing it? Because there's got to be a physiological cause to what we can observe to some degree, because you're experiencing something that is leading to information being put in and then revealing to you.
Yep.
And where is that coming from?
Yep.
It's got to be somewhat to a degree observable, but where is that and what is doing that? How can we figure out what that is?
Yeah.
And that's where it leads to me, like, those sort of questions, like, maybe like it's not like you're connecting to a legitimate spiritual world, which you could be. I'm not saying you are or you're not, but you could actually just be connecting to like the inherent like biology of everyone, which is kind of weird. Like when we're talking about Carl Jung from in the collective unconscious, if I'm getting this right anyway, the unconscious we all share as a species, and those common threads and behaviours we have, and maybe you're very in tune to that, and that's what's causing you to be able to realise all these things is because of that, and that could be a potential pathway, which I think it makes it fucking pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, you're a mutant.
Yeah.
Like, excellent. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to discuss with you, Jake, because I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I can talk about what I experienced and what I see, but everyone's different. Everyone and every medium or psychic that you meet will have a different way of connecting or tuning in.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be very similar, but at the same time, we don't know what we're tuning in. We only know through experience, and feeling, and validation to what we're getting.
And with that sort of stuff, like you only know you're experiencing it.
Yeah.
It's maybe like the next frontier is to explore that in like a psychiatric sort of sense.
Yeah.
Because like we didn't know, like, let's say for example, the causes of which hold us down to the earth right now until we discovered that it was gravity.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the case now. The next frontier is to find out what's going on within the mind a bit more. And I think that's something that could be potentially explored, which I'd love to see some research into.
Well, I think even like if you go back to like, you know, real primal states of existence, you know, they've always had that that innate like knowing, that sort of that primal instinct.
The instinct to get away from danger, or get like so in a sense it's kind of saying like from a sensation of like I am in danger from like, let's say in a bush.
Yeah.
You hear a rustling, it's either a branch is dropped or a tiger. What are you going to guess it is? Yeah. Whatever it is, I'm not going to that fucking bush. It's sort of like that, but it's become quite an advanced form through our evolution or something like that. Yeah. Which is potentially the case as well, which is quite, I think that makes it fascinating. I think that makes it amazing. Got anything to add in, Callan, at the moment? Or?
Well, before you all came over today, I did a little bit of research into what people perceive when they are, you know, having the, like what you were talking before, the feelings, the visions and things like that, you know, their interpretations. Yeah. I've come across people who visually describe it as some like bare bones sort of like, not stick figure, but just that sort of thing where it's just ligaments, but it's straight lines and it's abstract. And then there's people who see it as like, do you remember the scene in Daredevil from 2003 where he first uses the sonar sound and it's sort of blue and then it just ripples? They describe it as that. And then there are other people who view it as just sort of that, like, feeling, how you said. And when you go through it, what is the more common feel?
Okay, so
visual aspect, I should say.
when I first obviously started listening, you call it the listening. It starts off as that. It's like it is a feeling, but then it develops into, for me, it's symbolic. So like I'll see things that I know means something. So like if, for instance, if I'm tuning into someone and I know that they're, say for instance I'm picking up that they're holding on to a lot of stress, or they're just like, I'll feel like, or I'll see like maybe a heaviness over them, and it's just like blurred lines, and it's like a heaviness over their shoulders, and I'll also feel that, so as if I'm being receptive to it, to their environment. When it comes to spirits or the dead, sometimes what it will be an outline. So it'd be like a silhouette. I can't always see them clearly, but the way they're presented to me is it's always symbolic. So it's always like, for instance, if someone was a very macho bloke in their life, I will see the symbol for, you know, short, or what you've got on,
singlet,
singlet and overalls, and holding a beer, and that will be my sign for the person. That's what they were like, and then I will sort of say, or sometimes I'll get symbols that will tell me different things, and does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of does. This probably sounds very, what's the word? Very ignorant. My uncle, I believe he's Wiccan. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but he's talked about something similar to what you were saying, the whole silhouette thing around people and the colours and what that represents. Is that anywhere?
So that would be the aura. So that would probably be able to tune in, because a lot of people believe that we as human beings have an auric field or a space around us that sort of is like a blueprint of our energy, and there's some people out there that can like look and see the colours or different things around someone, and I'd say that that's what that is about. And different psychics, mediums, they have their different talents. Some are stronger in certain things. Fair enough. So there's all different types.
And to that, I find that quite interesting when you discuss auras and the different colour thing, because actually seeing auras is actually one of the symptoms of migraines.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I find that quite interesting. I'm sorry to bring it back. I'm just no. But like,
thank you.
It's like whatever connection there is between I think with the migraine, I think it's a restriction of blood flow or whatever.
Yeah.
It's causing that visual effect. So whatever's occurring within that gentleman's mind that is actually seeing those colours, potentially there is just a physiological cause that he's inducing on himself without even knowing, because we can fool ourselves and trick ourselves into our own self-beliefs anyway. And like, let's say if this man's so convinced that he is a Wiccan, he can induce something. Like, let's say if somebody already gave him the preconceived understanding of what an aura was, he can then all of a sudden imprint that into his own life,
gravitate to that.
And then all of a sudden it becomes a reality for him. Sorry, I just thought I'd
that's fine. That's fine. Absolutely.
Because I'm just chucking in those thoughts. Like it doesn't take like anything, but it just takes like all the symbols are generally projections of somebody's already preconceived understanding of something in order to comprehend something they're experiencing. It seems to be it. Because like it doesn't matter what the image is, it all leads to that one. Those conclusions that are all similar.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like when you're saying with the stick figures, and when you're saying with your feelings, or you feel that heaviness to be with the bloke and all that sort of stuff, somebody will see something else, but it all means the same thing. But you've got your own individual impressions upon it, which is, I think, is pretty funky. So
So you know, like when I and that's how I've learned to develop it. Like at first, it would start with, because I mostly work with the tarot. So the tarot, when I first started to read, they're all basically images, and I had no full understanding of all the meanings of the cards. But what I would do is I would lie the cards in front of me, and I would allow the images to speak to me, and I would allow whatever, like there might be something in a specific card that would draw to me, then an emotion would come, and then I would describe that, interpret that, and that would have some sort of validation for that. And then from there, what that feeling, the voice got stronger, and then, you know, I've had flashes So it might be, say, say if someone's likes to work on a car or something, I'll see a car and then I'll see a screwdriver, not a screwdriver, that thing, spanner. Yeah. So that's my sign. So yeah.
I love that.
So I've learnt to able to, and it's important to create that personal connection.
Yeah.
So I can have that. So I get these symbols that are shown to me. So I know, okay, so this is what's going on in that person's life because that's what I'm being shown.
Well, you can't actually get any information without some form of symbol anyway. Because you can't get any understanding. Like from just observing like water flowing, you don't know water's flowing till you see the shape of it. It's a symbol of water flowing. So that's essentially
and it's sort of like it's what that feeling comes from. So when I see that, it might be like, so one day I might see the stream and it might be, they're really in tune with their emotions. I can really feel that. And then I might feel it, see it next time, and then I really feel uncomfortable. And then it's like, so they're not in tune. There's a lot going on.
And this is where you get connected to the collective unconscious. Because since there's all those similarities within human beings, you're actually connecting with all those similarities in emotion, and that's why I've got that little funky little feeling about it. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, you keep going, Cal, and just right.
I actually had a interesting question. When you talked about being a warlock for the past 14 years or so, what was the initial thing that started it? What was there a sign? Did you just sort of feel that it was right?
Are you talking about the practice itself?
Yeah, just coming to that realization that that's what you view yourself as.
Well, as a young kid, I was always things like Harry Potter, wizards, witches, that sort of let's call it an archetype. That sort of archetype I was always really drawn to, and it's something that always sort of it inspired something within me. I don't know what it was, but it was just this buzz. And Matt will tell you, I was obsessed, and I basically still am.
Dress up as a wizard.
It was something that I embodied. That idea to be able to tap into something magical. And I felt myself, I would buy wizard books, and but that was only playthings. But inside, I knew there was more to that. So as I got older, I discovered books, and then our father, he changed his path a little bit. He actually opened the door and introduced us to some spiritual practitioners, not necessarily witches or warlocks, but practitioners like healers and such. And that sort of opened the gateway. I was just, it's something that's always been really inherent with me. I've got to know more. That sort of practice, the earth-based spiritualities and the old gods and such. So
And along your path, did you have any mentors to help you through it, or is it sort of
I've always had different mentors. I wouldn't say I've had a couple of mentors in the craft. That's what we call it. But not necessarily the craft.
1999.
Yes. That's a really good movie. They actually got a lot of that's pretty but not obviously movie theatrics and everything, but that has a very strong base in the pagan community.
Star Trek jokes.
That's right. But I've learnt from different people. So a lot of my mentors are people that I've met through obviously family, but then also online, and then through books and stuff. It's all through association and learning. I'm very much a self-taught warlock.
That's interesting, because not just in Jake's path through life, but throughout all sort of I'm having a rough one.
It's right.
Just everyone has their path when they want to go and discover who they are. And they find a mentor on the way, or they choose the path of finding their own way. And Jake, you seem to have gone and taken both of them at the same time, which has opened your eyes to how things can be done and how you think things should be done. I was struggling there.
I don't know why, but I thought you were going to make a connection to bronies somehow.
Not brony.
I don't know why. Just bronies.
No.
Mentors for bronies.
But also before I let you get back to that, there's actually another series. Since we're talking about the craft and film and all that, there's actually another series that delves into following a path that's already been travelled for people to follow and finding your own way. And it's called Star Wars. So Luke Skywalker is wonderfully on that path of following the old wizard and having learnt the ways of how he went about it, but then he goes and finds his own way and discovers the things that he thinks are wrong with the Jedi Order and carves his own version of it, thus self-taught. And I think that's wonderful. That's my thing. I tie it all back into Star Wars.
That was a good way of doing it. I really liked it.
That's right.
You've done it every episode so far. He's always done the Star Wars restaurant.
That's right. I hope that's not. No. Worry if I just wanted to use that to get some.
No, that's all right.
I'm gonna fill my quota.
Shit. I don't know where I was gonna go with that. I'll tell you what. Since you read the mythology and stuff, do you have any particular let's say we'll go pre-Christian pagan religions?
Yes.
Which one do you seem to enjoy the most?
See, I jump a lot because they're all very similar.
Yeah.
They are all very similar, and that's I don't want to go too far into my idea of God, but I tend to work predominantly with
Greek.
because say a mixture of Greek, but then at the moment it's Greek.
Yeah, I saw your picture of Pan, so that's Greek, isn't it?
Yeah, Greek god Pan. But there's more to that, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
The image of the horned one.
Yeah.
And I also work closely with Santa Muerte, Holy Death, which is the unofficial saint of Mexico.
Yeah, so you're very into that sort of. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Greek, but of course I like Norse too.
Yes,
so do I.
Yes.
Stuff. It's very interesting. Slavic stuff I want to look into more.
Yep.
Because that's pretty funky. Have you heard all the Slavic stuff?
I've very rarely come across it. I know
it's just brutal. That's where Baba Yaga comes from.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The idea, you go into the woods and Baba Yaga's house will travel with her and everything like that. The chicken leg house.
That's what that movie Knock Knock was based off.
Yeah.
Not a good movie. Not a good movie.
Do you know they actually reckon that she didn't actually have chicken legs? If you go back, the houses were actually just built on tree trunks to help keep the trees. So it looked like chicken legs, but they were actually built on.
That's no fun.
Yeah, sorry. I
played Baba Yaga and Smite, the video game.
Love Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga's in Smite?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
She's alright. In Arena,
she's alright.
Conquest,
I'm a Bob Ross kind of guy.
Yeah, you can actually get a Bob Ross Silver.
I've played him. I hate Smite, but I played it.
Yeah, Sylvanas with the Bob Ross skin. Yeah, fair enough.
Big fan.
Yep, support characters. Man, fucking that game is amazing. I was addicted to it, and I was becoming quite a beast.
Well, on the topic of hopefully I'm not cutting into it.
It's okay.
On the topic of the pagan religions and all that sort of thing in pop culture, how did you feel about, for example, I'll pick one just off the top of my head. The episode in Supernatural season 1 or 2 where they come across the orchard and it's a pagan god of harvest.
The scarecrow.
Scarecrow, yes, that one. In terms of
what season's that?
I think it's season 1.
I think it is.
Yeah, season 1 because it's just I think Dean and Sam are separated at that point because Sam and Dean get separated and Meg. That's when Meg meets up with Sam on the side of the road, and then Dean's off on his own for an episode, and he comes across that one where it's the orchard. I don't know how you want to say it, but they go up against the pagan god of the harvest, and it all relied on the sacrifice of was it the Virgin?
I think it had to be some sort of sacrifice of young blood or something.
And in your community and all that sort of thing. Is there ever a time when you feel like it doesn't get represented properly? What are some examples of it not being represented?
Well, I think the pagan community has come a long way. I think that there is a lot more understanding and tolerance of the practice. And again, it's very broad. Paganism is very, very broad. Everyone has their different views on it. But it has been, it has come a long way. And I can't think off the top of my head. I think it's actually been pretty well.
Yeah.
like in terms of like things like that, of course it's a show, and you know they did used to sacrifice people. You know, in the Vikings used to, you know, it was part of the belief system. It was part of the culture. It's what they did.
The mind used to do it.
Yeah, you know, so it's not to deny that that sort of stuff didn't happen in some communities. Not that it's saying I would ever do that, because there is no need to do that. You know.
So you got an email from KFC. Sorry.
Yeah, they messaged me all day because I went to KFC today in a moment of weakness.
And did you have to scan yourself in?
I did the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Webjet's talking to me now.
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry,
holiday gift.
Anyway, keep going. For KFC, I'm like, why is KFC sending you emails?
I think, especially in film, they have to sort of amp it up a little bit, so they have to make it dramatic and, you know, over the top. I mean, people who have an understanding of the craft or paganism, they'll watch these things and go, oh, that's really cool, and they'll, you know, I sit there and I watch things and you see the symbolism and, you know, you see how they use it and stuff like that.
I really like all that shit. I was gonna mention something. I like the way. I know they don't really show that much in the show, but in the actual show Vikings, how they showed like the glimpses of Odin and stuff like that, and how he's not like how all those sort of gods are actually very human.
Yes.
Like, they're not invincible or anything.
And they're not up in the sky away from everyone.
They're among the people sort of thing. Yeah, I love that sort of shit. It's quite interesting.
And to a lot of pagans or practitioners of the old ways, the gods are very much friends or partners. We don't bow down to them. We see them as equal. Some would even say they're aspects of ourselves. I reckon. Deeper aspects of ourselves.
And to that, now I'm just going to bring it back, because like when you said the aspects to ourselves, there is quite a lot of like I can't remember who did it, like anthropologists, people who study cultures and all that stuff, and bring it all through. Like they find a rationale that the reason why those sort of gods exist were actually just basic ways of understanding natural occurrences. Like let's say for example, understanding thunder. Like they'd be like, that's actually somebody up in the sky called Zeus who's really upset, or something like that. Because somebody, one, we know what upset is. Two, we see that we can use it as a representation of being upset. So that's another way of why these sort of gods exist, is basically just a self-projection of our own human desires to know, to know something, to feel something. Which of course I get those sensations. I assume you get those sensations, even though we already know them. It's quite obvious. We have that sensation we need to know, and sometimes we'll lead to conclusions without it even being relatively a rational way of doing it. I feel like I'm being quite stick in the but
no, it's good because you got your stance on it, your views of it. It's sort of more of a scientific, more medical aspect. Whereas Jake's the spiritual side of it. So it's a good, back and forth.
It's a good.
And I'm very, I consider myself, I'm very skeptical in my own way, because I'm very much, I analyse things and only speak truth from experience. So if I've experienced a particular way, I will tell you how it is from my experience, but I will not talk on something that I haven't experienced. You know, so like I would say that if I've tapped into these gods, I would say that I have tapped into their power and I have felt that within me. And that has been brought through, whether that's just through my own self or whether I'm tapping into that force. It's interesting. But it's even too, like even in especially lightning, like the energy that it sends off in the air, the energy that you feel in your body when it, it's amazing. Nature's amazing.
Ooh, I don't know what else we can ask. You got anything?
Most of mine just come back to sort of, the public perception of it. And, when people are trying to discover, their path through paganism or, Wiccan culture, is there a place people can go for that sort of thing? For, even listeners who are thinking about it?
Well, there's many different avenues. The best thing to do would be to research as much as you can. Go online, there's lots of sources, there's plenty of books. Back in the 80s and sort of early 90s, there wasn't a lot available, but now we live in a generation that there's a lot of information available, and that depends on, there's different paths you can tap into, there's all different forms, but it's just based on where that person wants to be drawn to, but there's lots of people that you can tap into.
Absolutely. And is there anything people should look out for?
Always trust your gut in terms of knowledge and information, especially around other people. If someone doesn't feel right or something doesn't feel okay, always go with that instinct and step away from that. Because not everyone, obviously, in the world is friendly. And there's a lot of people that obviously are not sane. We'll say that. Just go by what you feel is right. Allow yourself to be guided. Obviously, every experience, you come in, you learn from it. But just be wary, and have an open mind is always the best thing to do.
Well said.
Yeah.
From everything that Jake has said, have any of the answers given you any insight into more things that you want to ask, or answered any questions you
at
have?
the moment, because I've already had this conversation with Jake before.
But we've never actually really talked it this way. I don't think it's.
I felt like we kind of talked about it when that time, and I've already asked those questions similar to that. But we I can relate to you quite a lot within those within your answers and stuff. But because I don't have psychic experiences, and I've been around you and doing all your things and all that sort of stuff, and I have asked you to even give me readings. Yeah. And I'm still, of course, pretty I'm skeptical, but. Let's say one that you did recently for me, with some of the aspects, I gave you barely any information. You were quite accurate upon what you collected out of it. So, I just want to know what the fuck that is. That's it. That's all. That's all I want to know.
That's human nature. You want to know. People hate not knowing shit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it's Zeus.
But see the thing too. You see the thing as well. Those cards that I used, I created my own meanings for. So that's my own.
And that is why it's connected.
The cloud cards, card captors. Nah, never ever heard of that. The anime? Nah. Wait, sorry, what? Card captors.
Card captors.
You know the cloud cards?
Shit.
Have you not seen that show? It's actually pretty good.
Is it called Card Captors?
It's called Card.
I think that was my first introduction to the tarot.
Card Captors.
Yeah.
Not chaotic?
No, it's not anime. Old anime.
Okay.
It's like Sailor Moon.
It's the equivalent of Sailor Moon.
I'm pissed off that I don't know that because that generation is where all the good shit is.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. It's pretty good.
Genuinely pissed off.
Now we're talking about anime. Have you seen Air Gear?
Yes.
That's a fucking good series.
Fucking love that show. Have you seen what's it called? D Hunter? Hunter D?
Yeah, Hunter X D.
Yes, that one. It's great.
Yeah.
It's got a very awesome representation of melancholy and depression in that sort of generation where people didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. If you get a hold of it, get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Devilman's great. Devilman's awesome because it touches. This has nothing to do with it. But Devilman is one of those shows where it was not afraid to be gruesome, sexy, or just downright depressing.
Yeah.
Especially with a manga, which was during that time of, I believe it's Tetsuya Oda, maybe?
Yeah.
I think. He's the guy that made Astro Boy. And after Astro Boy came out, a lot of the artists after him would adopt that style with the big doughy eyes. And that he was really the forefather of that sort of style.
Yeah.
And Devilman used that style and turned it up on its head and made it gruesome, made it disgusting, and gave you a protagonist who used negative aspects of life and death and all that sort of shit, and gave you an ending where the bad guys win.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly, there's no hope at the end. It's just the bad guys win.
Yeah.
And that was one of the rare instances of Japan getting out of the comfort zone and showing that side of them has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But you fuck. All right, you keep talking. I'm gonna tell a lot on.
You gotta do that. You gotta do that. Do you want to come on for another one? Because I want to talk about
Can we talk about anime?
No, we can talk about anime. I actually want to talk about mythology with you because I'll do some research and I'll come talk to you about mythology a bit more. I think that'd be a bit of fun.
I mean, I'm not fluent in mythology, but I'm well aware of
as in with your readings and stuff.
And how I interact with
how you
different
do
gods.
it.
That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of interesting because I'll go with do my research. You come back and you describe how you interact with that sort of concept, and I think that'd be kind of interesting.
It's Vampire Hunter D, by the way.
Sorry. Sorry. It's alright. We've got a conclusion.
It's pissing me off.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Right.
When you were saying we haven't acquired this conversation before, what do you mean by that?
I don't think we've been able to express it in the depth. That we have here today.
I think that's mainly because I've always been scared to talk to you about it.
Why?
Oh, just because I'm afraid of like upsetting you.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I do know I can be quite abrupt.
Yeah.
Like, because this is the way I ask questions, and if people aren't used to me, I can upset people. So I just understand that. I'm like, I don't want to upset my brother or my family. So that's why I generally thought Anthology brings people together.
Yeah. But it's nice to have that other person in the conversation too, to balance that out.
Yeah, because I think Callan's it seems like he's interested in the kind of topic.
I love this shit. I love this, even though. Yep.
Yeah, it's
I say I love this shit.
Yeah.
It's not shit, obviously.
No,
It's just making sure everyone is clear.
Yeah.
I don't think it's shit.
Well, I
think
understand.
it's incredibly
No,
interesting.
but I reckon you've seen ghosts, haven't you? You've had experiences. haven't
You son of a bitch. Fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That'd be a great time to bring all of that up. Because she's talked about her instances with ghosts
On the Death
paranormal.
podcast that doesn't exist anymore.
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
interesting.
you probably know the Vanna. Maybe.
Havana, can't say her last name.
No.
She'll get doxxed.
In Bort. We live
We
in Bort.
live in Bort.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bort, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, because you live down the road with Matt
Yeah.
in the town of Bort.
Bort.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
lovely,
where we
fabulous.
live, listeners.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe I should Google the Vanna or Facebook just so you can know the individual.
That's all right. You keep talking. I'll
You
get
do
a photo
that. You
up.
do that. You find the person. On the first podcast on death, which failed, we've got to trash it. They were talking about all their experiences, and like this individual has quite a unique perspective on the spiritual. Like she's like a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Like she's quite funky.
Yeah. My funky or like.
She's like, let's say like your funky is.
She's a whole different.
So
Okay.
let's say like you're like. What are you? You're more like chaotic good.
Okay.
And she's more like. Where would you say she's like chaotic? Not
Just chaotic.
Just chaotic.
Just chaotic.
You're chaotic, but she's just chaos. She's just
Yeah. But you know, in a good kind
in
of.
a good way.
But not good chaos.
Yeah.
Just it's a kind of chaos where they have an interesting perspective on things, and it's not negative towards anyone. They just want their voice to be heard about it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your ghost experience?
Yeah, sure.
Go
All
for
right.
You've had more than one though.
You
Just
bastard.
choose-
He's honest.
He's got every episode. We just do one ghost story.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Have you
Nice.
experienced sleep paralysis before?
I have not. No.
Right,
And I
interesting.
can't wait to never.
It's not fun.
No.
That's an interesting topic
Yeah.
too. Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was young,
See, I'm tapping into your energy.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. Sorry.
So when I was younger, I think I was maybe 5 or 6, maybe. We went to Movie World and went to the Gold Coast and all that sort of shit. And we were staying at this hotel, and I was sharing a room with my brother. And at this time, it was only my brother and I. My baby sister was with my mum and dad in the other room, but it was just us in this room. And I went to sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night. There was a bit of the moonlight coming in, so it was lit but still dark, sort of thing. And I got up and I looked over because I was going to go to the toilet. And I saw him. He was laying in bed, like clear as day. I could see he was there. Got up, and I was going into the next room. And the next room was sort of like the living area of the hotel. And then the other side was where my mother and father and the baby sister were. And I went out there, and I was going to go diagonal where the toilet was. And as I was going in, I looked up, and there was just this black figure. And I said, "Is that you, Terrell?" And it didn't answer. And then it started walking towards me. I'm like, well, fuck that. So I ran back to my bed, got in, and as I got back, I looked. It was at the doorway. And I was like, well, I'm dead. And I looked over, Terrell was there. I was like, well, that's fucking something. And then I thought, well, I'll be safe if I get under the covers. So I got under the covers, and I could feel it getting closer, and it was standing over me, and I felt it. And then I just cried myself to sleep.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So take that as you will. That is the scariest thing that's ever happened in my life, apart from breaking my arm.
It's funny because I've had spiritual experiences, but nothing to the point like that. I've never had the shadow standing at the end of the bed. I've had spirit photography. I've obviously interaction through mediumship and stuff like that. But I was actually thinking the other day about where Matt lives now, where I used to live. There was supposedly an old male spirit there,
right?
That used to live in the house.
Right.
Did you know about that?
Yeah, Mum was talking. It was like the old iron
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. But anyway, because I'm like, how come I never sensed it? Like, I never wanted to go to bed, but that was me. But I remember waking up one night and not being able to breathe, like I'd held my breath. And that's the only thing that I can think of that may be some, you know, maybe interaction with, not saying it is, but I was trying to pinpoint any sort of experience that I'd had while that being had been in the house.
And did your mother ever say it was a malevolent sort of entity, or it was just
Mum's
an
pretty
entity?
chilled with spirits. Mum's pretty psychic herself, so she's pretty. He was just she would just see shadows. There wasn't any sort of like poltergeist activity where there'd be movement or anything, but as far as I know, yeah. So I just thought I'd throw
No, that's fine. And it's very interesting, like what you were saying, that you couldn't feel it. So obviously it didn't have a negative aspect to the house. It didn't feel threatening. Just to quickly touch on the story I told, it felt very negative.
Yeah.
It wasn't cold. It was on my height.
Yeah.
It looked like a child.
Yeah.
But it was just it was like condensed darkness.
Yes.
Maybe it was your shadow self.
Oh mate, I would have kicked the shit out of that if it
Have
said
you
anything.
seen the Naruto, the dark, when they split into two, he's dark side?
Is that
Sage.
Kurama?
Yeah.
I like that episode.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good.
a good episode.
Gives it a hug.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, damn it. Alright.
Anywho, keep
See,
going.
your ability to be able to sense and feel what that energy was is a form of psychic ability.
Yeah.
Right.
We all have
I don't
it.
think God would like that. But no, that's interesting. So, Matt, because Jake is more in, well, not more, but is very in tune to this sort of thing, and your mother seems to be as well.
Yeah.
Did you or your dad ever have these sort of things?
I've had, I guess you could call it an
Did
experience.
you talk into the glass then, as if it was a mic?
No, I'm doing it because it's quite fun.
Oh, okay.
Because I can hear it bounce back and it
Oh.
echoes. So, I had, of course I've had like something you'd call an experience. Remember one experience in the house that I had was like the bed shook violently when I was like when I woke up, and it did the same for Mum's bed as well the next day or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty funky. And if you're talking about in regards to like me feeling things or anything like that, if I do, I would have and because of my proclivities to question fucking everything, I would have just put it down to like me going crazy or like something, something slipping in my mental state or something like that.
Okay.
That's what I've attributed to.
Question: have you ever had a feel like you met someone new and you had a feeling about them you didn't like, and that was validated?
Of course, some people.
It was me.
As I still hang around him to this day. Yeah, of course I did, but I can't attribute that to like I'm doing right now. I'm questioning.
Yeah.
I can't attribute that to anything relatively because, let's say for example, you can tell when somebody is a potential threat if they're bigger and stronger than you. Clearly, I should be careful of that fellow.
Yeah.
So why would I?
But I'm talking about someone that does not.
Yeah, but of course you
intimidating.
get a vibe of someone who's a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Or you can get that vibe. Like let's say for example, people who walk in the cafe all the time. Or
Yeah.
in Bort.
Inbort, that's right.
Inbort, yeah.
Bort Cafe.
In the Bort Cafe.
World famous.
The only
Inbort.
one. The only one. Yeah, you can tell which individuals who are going to be nice to you when you walk to the counter who are not, because it's the way they present themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the same thing.
I remember reading a book called The Psychic Witch by Matt Aaron. It's actually a fairly new one.
Yeah.
And he sort of says that intuition is like that sort of cold reading style, being able to pick up those slight movements on a person's body, but then psychic ability is that energetic feeling. Yeah.
Like I can get it I guess to a degree I can pick up on people's feelings.
Yeah.
I feel like I can tell when people aren't quite right. I can tell when they're but I don't know if I can attribute that to that.
Yeah.
But I think that's just also because I'm my degree is I have to be in tune with people. I have to make sure they're alright and seeing if they're fine. So I might just be very well equipped to do that.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, absolutely.
So I can that's just what I can. That's just
cool. Just a question. I just thought I'd put it out there. Something to
Because I remember when I was 10 or something, I tried to use cards. I think I remember that psychic fair, whatever it was, and I ago. I can't remember.
I can't even remember. It's been that long.
Yeah, it was ages ago.
Yeah.
I've been through quite a cycle of things, but I don't think the right podcast is not here to discuss that, I don't think. We'll probably another episode. Dude, I've got another one. This is not even remotely involved with the topic, but I was talking with a co-worker today. We're talking about psychedelics.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Do you do them?
No.
Would you do them? No, why not?
I'm straight edge, baby.
Yeah, straight enough. Yeah. Like, in the back of my mind, like, if they were legal, I'd give them a go. Like, if I wasn't going to get in trouble, because I'm fucking afraid of authority. I'm like, but I want to hallucinate.
I'm going to be real with you right now.
Yeah.
You could do any drug in Board Victoria.
In Board Victoria.
And you will not get caught because no one gives a shit.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll just go buy a bag of shrooms in Board Victoria.
In Board Victoria?
Yeah, and
absolutely. You won't. Look, you just got to find the right person.
Yeah.
I do not know them.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I don't know anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, none of us know anyone involved.
No, absolutely.
Victoria. We don't know anyone who's connected to any sort
Although
of
there is
illicit
redacted.
substance. Yeah.
He knows some.
Yeah.
It's Liam.
Well, it's interesting.
I could probably find it pretty easily with the friends I have. Anywho.
No, it's interesting that you bring up the topic of hallucinogenics and everything. But that's always been associated. Well, witches have always been associated with plants and being able to. In the Bible, it was actually, I think. Oh no, go back. It was poisoner. Thou shalt not suffer a poisoner to live, but that was sort of referring to a murderer.
Yes.
So it wasn't actually a witch. But I think in his book Old World Witchcraft by Raven Grimassi, in Europe, I think the first sort of well-known word that would describe a witch was pharmacute, which means
pharmaceuticals.
Basically means someone who works with plants. And there is documented cases where people use substances to help alter their state of being.
I'm so interested.
Especially there's the flying potion, which is said to help a witch to take flight. But it would have things like aconite and mandrake and stuff that would really fuck you up and really send you to another planet. But I also know in like the Amazon, a lot of the cultures, they will have is it ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca. We talked about ayahuasca today.
And they will use that as a way to enter a trance state. I personally would not use any sort of substance because I don't need it to. Because it's all about altering consciousness and altering that state. And I think that, to fully experience something, I think it'd be better for you to be in a more stable sense of mind to validate what you're getting rather than being off in la la land.
But you can, like, let's say for example, because generally the most reasons why we hallucinate is due to DMT, dimethyltryptamine.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I learned something.
So it's naturally produced in the pineal gland.
Shit. Where's that?
Oh, it's fuck. I'm trying. It's like tucked like right underneath. Like I'll show you. I'll show you.
All right.
I'll show you.
But see, do you know the pineal gland? People actually attribute that to be the third eye.
Yeah, and like the Egyptians used to eat it. Didn't they used to eat it?
I think so.
And that's like what the
they used to eat mummies, didn't they?
Yeah,
I think
something
like that.
To put it up there and pull it out.
Yeah, yank it out, boy. But so that's generally what we're doing. We're increasing the secretion of that from that particular gland. And if you're stable of mind, and if you take it, she'd be right, cobber. You'd just be starting saying she and shit. She's just saying.
But then again, if the person believed that the plant held a certain spirit, for instance,
that would lead to a different conclusion.
Then that would be that they believe that the spirit is giving them. Well, that's what they used to believe with alcohol. They used to believe that the plant itself was giving you that altered state when you ingested it.
Isn't it just weird that like people are really interested in poisoning themselves to make themselves feel different?
It's almost like people back then figured out that life's pretty shit. And they went, that looks like I'll get to the finish line
quicker. That's probably not the real ones.
No.
I just find it's so funky. And all of them come from plants. You never get like high off eating deer meat. Toad? Oh, licking a toad. But that's because they got the toxins already secreting from
man.
So licking toads. I wouldn't lick a toad. I feel uncomfortable about that.
I'd feel bad for the toad.
Yeah, would it be like, I don't want to do this, you don't want to
The toad would give you looks and go. Come on,
Not again, mate. Last week.
There's marijuana around. He goes,
Bit invasive, mate.
Yeah,
That's right.
Put it away.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Keep
like,
it in your pants.
put me on my back.
Yeah.
The toad's like, oh.
Anything else you want to add at the moment, Jake?
Nothing that I can think of really, but yeah, no, it was interesting bringing up the idea of plants, because plants is very much a part of it's very much a part. You know, we not only use it for the medicinal, we also use it for the magical, the spiritual properties as well.
That's kind of why I brought it up.
Oh, okay, I see what you did.
Yeah,
there.
I pay attention. Because I was just curious what you were thinking, seeing if you could make that connection for us. But because like you actually make potions and stuff still, don't you?
Oh, I
It's
guess
like
you
something
call them
like
potions,
that.
yeah.
Well, not quite the.
But even they reckon, you know, in Shakespeare, in Macbeth, the play, you know, Eye of Newt and Tongue of Dog, they're just like another names for herbs. Yeah. So, you know.
It's like there's a medical term for what is it? I think it's cabbage balls or some shit. It's like some sort of medical condition. I can't remember what it's called. Brussels sprouts. Yeah. It's like green pus coming from somewhere. I don't tell you exactly where, but
Oh, nasty.
Yeah.
Sounds like lower region.
It is potentially lower region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know where I found that out?
What?
In the town of Board.
In the town of Board.
The town of Board.
Yes.
It was on the notice board. They said, "Hey, you got cabbage bowls?
Yep.
Go get that checked out."
Go get that checked out. Exactly right, in the town of Board.
In the town of Board.
So, was this everything you did you expect it to be like this? No.
I was open for anything.
Anything?
I was just like, it's great.
It's just, it's all it is just talking shit. That's
Yeah.
based around the theme, which today's theme was psychics. I think we're just ended here. Yeah? Yeah? Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.